Hi, you're watching MSNBC, which means you are in full coverage of the George Zimmerman murder trial. We have our legal team of experts on hand today, and of course, we have all eyes on the courtroom where the chief medical examiner is under cross-examination right now. So let's listen in.
Then we see the swelling that you say may be connected with one of the bruises, but that could be separate, correct?
I don't think so, because underlying the bruise you have the swelling. It's so impossible to get a bruise and a swelling and say, well, that was two different sites. Now, the swelling is separate from the bruise, yes, but they are one injury.
Okay. Presuming that the bruising on State's Exhibit 69 and 70, that the bruising that we see matches up in the jury's mind with that point of swelling, correct? You're making the premise.
It does.
Okay. In your opinion?
Well, you can see it.
Okay. And the jury will, of course, make that determination, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then there could be how many maximum times could the back of the head have been hit on the cement?
Well, to me, it was consistent with one, but you suggested by turning the head in different ways, it could be two. It's possible.
3 or 4?
With no injury, yes. If the head is in contact, producing no injury, yes.
How about the swelling below the lacerations? Did you notice that?
The contusion.
Below, right.
The contusion, yes.
Could that have been a separate injury?
No, it's possible.
Well, if the head was hit so that just the crown hit the cement one time, let's say his head just snapped back and it hit here, that could have caused one of the lacerations, correct?
Yes, but it's so close to each other. That's the proximity that really kind of makes it possible.
Okay, I appreciate that. So if the head was tilted one way and then smacked back so that this was the crowning point, that would be one laceration injury, correct?
It's possible.
And then if the head was this way, another laceration injury, correct?
That's possible.
And then if I was able to resist one of the tossbacks of my head, I can actually keep the crown higher, and that back bruising that you just identified could have occurred, right?
It's unusual because, you're talking about a flat surface. So the head will have to be really contorted to be able to give you all those injuries from different impacts.
Change it now that it's not the cement, okay? Change it that it's here. Change it that what was hitting, that the bruise on the bottom wasn't flat, that it was against the side. Would that cause the bruising down here without the lacerations?
The side of what?
The side of the cement. You know that it was a cement sidewalk, correct?
Yes.
And you know that they were at the very edge of it, correct?
Yes.
So you know that there is, in fact, an edge of cement, correct?
It's possible. The injury is possible, like you are suggesting. Yes.
Well, here's the cement, and we've been talking, discussing as though all the injuries are at that surface, right?
Correct.
So let's introduce now that there could have been some injuries here.
Your Honor, object to that as facts, not in evidence.
Hypothetical with an expert overruled.
It's possible.
The reality is that the head being hit against the cement could easily, the two lacerations above may not have ever impacted again when the bottom bruising occurred, right?
It's possible.
Okay. Mr. Guy focused you on life-threatening injuries, right?
Correct.
Did they suggest to you in your testimony that this has anything to do with life-threatening injuries?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. What is it?
Did the state attorney's office, when they prepped you for your testimony here today, suggest to you that life-threatening injuries was an element of anything having to do with this case?
No.
Okay. You understand that the extent of injuries are not significant in this case, do you not?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Okay. You understand that the extent of any injuries that Mr. Zimmerman incurred in this attack have nothing to do with the case itself,
I
correct?
object to that as calling for a legal conclusion.
Please answer the question, please.
I will. Were you prepared for the examination to identify whether or not you could testify that there were life-threatening injuries or not?
No,
Okay. None of these injuries that you identified, as they turned out, were in fact life-threatening, were they?
correct.
What about the next injury?
The what, sorry?
The next injury.
What is that?
The next injury he would have sustained.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Could the injury that he didn't have to survive, could that have been life-threatening?
Object to that as calling for speculation.
Sustained.
I might just have a moment, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Dr. Well, who was it that appointed you chief medical examiner for District 4?
The governor.
And are you testifying here today because Ms. Corey wrote a letter on your behalf to the governor some years ago?
No,
Are you slanting your testimony anyway today because Ms. Corey wrote a letter on your behalf to the governor some years ago?
absolutely not.
All right. You were shown some photographs by defense counsel. Were you provided with all of those photographs prior to trial on the disc that you referred to?
Yes,
And in fact, I think you referred to 36 photographs of the defendant.
yes,
Did that also include photographs of his hands?
yes.
Would you expect someone who was undergoing a severe attack to try to defend themselves?
Object, Your Honor, outside of scope and also speculation.
Sustained on both grounds.
You were asked about a scenario where the defendant may have hit his head on the edge of concrete when you watched the defendant's walkthrough or recreation. Did he describe his head getting hit on the edge of concrete?
No,
Judge, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. May Dr. Weil be excused?
She may.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. You are excused. Call your next witness, please.
Mayor, the next witness is available, but could counsel approach very briefly?
Yes.